morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you early on your Saturday morning as we approach 5 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Eastern. As we give you a little weather information this morning, just want to let you know, because I know when you went to bed last night, we were telling you that we could have some severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia about the time that you wake up this morning. And here's the good news. These storms have weakened significantly from where they were when you went to bed last night. Yes, the main line is moving into East Alabama and West Georgia at this hour, but they are not nearly as strong as they were when you went to bed last night. We have lost a good bit of the intensity. We had some dry air move into the storm system from the west and southwest during the overnight, and that has kind of kept the southern end of this line of thunderstorms from going too severe. We did continue to see severe warnings throughout the night across Tennessee and up into North Carolina, but the southern end of it has really calmed down significantly. If you look, you'll see that we have that line of storms really stretching from about Toccoa, Georgia, down to the northern Atlanta suburbs around Roswell and Sandy Springs, and it stretches over to around Bremen, Georgia, and then down into Cleburne County, Alabama, northwest Randolph, across Clay, and then it tails off down there around Goodwater, Alabama, and then we see the line try to pick back up near Selma, and that stretches on down into southwest Alabama. But here's the good news this morning. We have no severe weather watches or warnings in effect at this time anywhere in the state of Alabama, nor anywhere in the state of Georgia. We did have a severe thunderstorm watch that was in effect for extreme northwest Georgia, but that expired at 5 a.m. this morning, and it was not reissued. The Storm Prediction Center tells us that they have no plans of reissuing any watches, and both the Birmingham National Weather Service Office and the Peachtree City National Weather Service Office are both giving us verbiage this morning that suggests that these storms will continue to weaken as they move on into Georgia. Now, if you're in the path of this line of thunderstorms, is it going to be rainy? Is it going to be windy? Will there be occasional strokes of lightning? Yes, absolutely. But at this point, we anticipate this line of thunderstorms to remain well below severe limits as it moves across East Alabama on over into Georgia. I'm thinking probably another hour and a half, and we'll have the backside of this line of thunderstorms through East Alabama and West Georgia. So a couple of things we want to look at. If we can get switched over here, we will go back to our normal radar screen. There we go. Giving you a different perspective. This is a single site radar shot. This is looking at the storm system this morning out of Birmingham. And the colors are a little darker on this, but it gives you a little better resolution of where the storms are. It doesn't mean that this radar shot thinks that these storms are more significant than the other one that we were looking at. It's just a different color palette. This is just showing us a little better resolution where the individual heavier storm cells are located at this hour, and we can see that we've got a couple of pretty heavy cells moving into Carroll County there around Carrollton. We may have a little hail taking place up there in Carroll County, and then there could be a few small areas of hail right along the Randolph County, Cleburne County line. And then as we look back over there in Clay County, right there along 48, just to the west of Lake Wedowee, a couple of little spots of very heavy rainfall or maybe some real small hail about to move in over Lake Wedowee. And then looking back to the southwest, down around Millerville, heavy rain falling there now. Maybe a little bit of wind involved with that line of storms moving in to south central Clay County. and then that stretches all the way back to around Goodwater and Weguffka down there in Elmore County. Zoom back out to kind of give you an overall shot here. And you can see that we have some light showers down in Chambers County. Auburn, Opelika area, you've got that broken line of showers moving at your in your general direction out of up there out of Tallapoosa County. That'll be in the Auburn, Opelika area within the hour or so. But again, the good news here, no severe watches or warnings in effect for any of our locations across East Alabama or West Georgia at this hour. Hang with me just a second while I clear all of that. That's a med call up here in Northeast Georgia. I got phones going off everywhere with different things. So that's where we stand this morning. Megan says that rain and heavy wind in Ranburne. I concur with that. That's that line moving through up there in Ranburne this morning. But again, we're not looking at anything severe, just a lot of wind and rain and maybe even an occasional rumble of thunder off in the distance. So I just wanted to jump back in here. I know some of you are being woke up by this heavy rain that's moving into Clay County and Randolph County. So I just wanted to jump back in here and kind of give you another quick update on what we're looking at this morning. We're looking at it from a couple of different angles this morning. Let me see. Is one thing I wanted to show you. Get it to we got gremlins going on this morning. Okay, I believe this is going to work. Yes. Let's go back to single site. All right, now let's go to 3D. All right, this is what I wanted to show you. This is a new product that we're kind of looking at maybe using moving forward with our severe weather coverage. This is a 3D shot of the radar. It allows us to tilt the radar so we can see the tops of the storms, which is pretty doggone cool. And I know to most of you that doesn't mean anything, but it gives me the tools and weather forecasters the tools to see how tall these thunderstorms are, which helps forecast the intensity and severity of the storms. And so this particular radar from Radar Omega gives us the opportunity to look into the storm and look at the tops of the storms. The taller the storms, typically the more the chance is that you will have severe weather. So you look at this line of storms currently moving across southern Cleburne into northern Randolph. And I know that the map gets kind of crowded here, and it's hard to see. You can't see the names of the towns, but that's that line of storms moving across the Ranburne area, moving into northern Randolph County. And you can see that some of these thunderstorm tops are pretty tall. There's one peak that's pretty close to Ranburne that is a pretty tall thunderstorm at this hour. And that's going to continue moving on off to the southeast. And you could actually, put this thing in motion. And you can see the direction that the storms are moving. And then you go right on top of it and look straight down into the storm. You can come around behind it and look at it from a totally different perspective. You can see behind the storm. You can go all the way around the storm, look at it from any angle that you wish. This would be like sitting over Atlanta, looking back down at the storm. Then you can rotate back over the top of the storm. If we had any type of rotation going on here, this would make it much easier to dissect and really drill down into the storm and have a better understanding of what you're looking at. So just some pretty cool stuff we're thinking about implementing this and using this in our severe weather coverage as we move forward through severe weather season for East Alabama and West Georgia. Then that's back to our 2D radar. And yeah, this one is showing that line of storms as it moves into Randolph County, gaining a little bit of intensity there just to the west of Wedowee. We are beginning to see what may be some small hail or very, very heavy rainfall right there along Highway 48. And here comes the very next volume scan, and it doesn't look quite as significant as it did just a moment ago. But we still have a couple of areas that we may be seeing some hail there just west of Wedowee, also back over Lake Wedowee. Also, no question, it is raining torrents there just west of Wedowee, about to move over downtown Wedowee, up Highway 431, up around Ava, all the way up to around Wedowee Marine. You've got some very heavy rainfall there. Raining pretty heavily up there in Graham, Newell, Bucktown. That stretches on up into Carroll County to near Bowden, Carrollton. The heavy rain just now moving in. Things should start to improve up here in Ranburne. You should be on the back side of this now. Within the next few minutes, the rain should start to let up a little bit. And then as we look back over in Clay County, still heavy rain up at Barfield, Shiloh, back toward Ashland, Bowden Grove still in on the heavy rainfall. Millerville, you've got some moderate rain taking place there, and maybe a little wind down here. Where these, you see these little breaks or these little notches along this line of thunderstorms. You could have a little higher wind gust down there. And then as we look at Coosa County, Goodwater, Stewartville, Hanover, Weguffka, down to just north of Hyssop, and then Alexander City. You've got a small shower about to move through your area. Some heavier rain down in southern Tallapoosa County, just to the southwest of Dadeville. Camp Hill heads up. It's headed your way. Heavy rain down there around Kalijah. Looking at Chambers County, Buffalo down to Lafayette, very heavy rainfall. And then west out there on Highway 50, we see some heavy rainfall just west of downtown Lafayette, about to move over the Chambers Academy area at this hour. In West Georgia, some heavy showers in northwest Troup County. That stretches up to around Franklin. But the really heavy stuff is up in Carroll County, where we may have some small hail taking place up there. Your folks down in the Auburn-Opelika area, you've got one small shower that's just passed over downtown Auburn. That's headed for Opelika and maybe Beauregard. But the heavier rain's back off to your northwest, and that will rotate through Lee County over the course of the next hour or so. Again, if you're just joining us, the good news here this morning, no severe weather watches or warnings for the state of Alabama or the state of Georgia, for that matter. At this hour, the storms have really weakened in intensity as we've gone throughout the evening. This is that line of thunderstorms that prompted the horrid situation that we saw unfold over in central Mississippi last night. As the sun comes up this morning, I'm awfully afraid that the casualty count is going to continue to go higher, and just incredible destruction over in Mississippi last night near Armory, Mississippi. With that tornado, very, very strong, dangerous, violent tornado. At one point, it was 1 mile wide. It had a 200 mile per hour or close to that couplet. And I don't know that I have ever seen that before on radar. I mean, that may happen with some regularity out in Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Kansas, but you don't see tornadoes of that strength in the southeastern United States very often. We'll all remember the 2011 tornado that wiped part of Tuscaloosa off the face of the map. And I'm just awfully afraid that we're looking at a tornado last night in central Mississippi that is going to end up being equally as bad as that Tuscaloosa tornado was, or maybe even worse. Honestly, I don't remember I don't remember seeing data coming from the Tuscaloosa tornado. As bad as it was, I don't remember seeing live data that was as ominous as what we saw last night over in central Mississippi. It was off the scale. Um, Everything you looked at was off the scale. The debris ball on that tornado last night as it approached Armory, Mississippi, was unlike anything I have ever seen before. The signature, just the reflectivity signature, much less the velocity signature. There was no question that there was a large, violent tornado on the ground, and it was just it was amazing to look at from a technology standpoint, but at the same time, you knew what was happening, and it's just heartbreaking. And I'm really afraid the death toll and the casualty numbers are going to be much higher this morning as the sun comes up and rescuers are able to get into that area and do a little more search and rescue this morning. All right, so folks, that's probably going to wrap it up as far as our live severe weather coverage is concerned. Normally, our threshold is that we have to have at least a watch in place to go live and do wall-to-wall coverage for you. We do not have any watches. We do not anticipate any watches. There is an outside chance that we could have a rogue strong to severe thunderstorm this morning, and we're going to watch that for you and keep you updated. In the event that a warning is issued, we'll come right back and continue with our live coverage for you. I think another hour or two at the very most, we'll see all of this push out of East Alabama and through West Georgia, and should end up over there in central or middle Georgia within the next couple of hours. And then the threat for East Alabama and West Georgia will have completely gone away. It's much less now than it was a couple of hours ago. And then we'll watch for the possibility of more strong to severe storms on your Sunday afternoon into Sunday night, again for East Alabama and West Georgia. It's that time of year, folks. If you don't have a NOAA weather radio, go to your local department store today and buy one. We're talking $30 here, and it could very well be $30 that could save your life or your family's life. You need one of these NOAA weather radios to wake you up if we have severe weather while you're asleep. That's their main purpose. They do a very good job at that. Do not rely on outdoor warning sirens to wake you while you're asleep inside your home during a thunderstorm. That's not what those sirens are designed to do. And quite honestly, they don't do a very good job of warning you inside. So just because you may have a siren at the fire department down the street from your house doesn't mean that you're going to always get that notification during severe weather. Go get a NOAA weather radio and then make sure you've got a good app on your phone that gives you severe weather notifications. You do those two things, and then you go to YouTube and you subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather and click that little bell, then you'll be pretty well set to survive severe weather. And that's the key to surviving severe weather, is simply knowing what's going on around you, having situational awareness. Most people who are injured or lose their lives in severe weather had no idea what was happening. So they were not in the center of the lowest floor of their home. They were not in their tornado evacuation spot at their place of work. A lot of them are in mobile homes. A lot of folks who are injured and lose their lives are in automobiles because they had no situational awareness. They had no idea what was about to happen. That's where you get in trouble with severe weather. If you know what's happening and you protect yourself, you have a much, much better chance of surviving severe weather. But you have to take personal responsibility to do that. You have to make that move to go get that NOAA weather radio, and you have to pay attention during times of severe weather. Understand what you're looking at on radar. Understand where your location is on a map, and then go to YouTube and subscribe to Dr. Don and so that you'll get that push notification when we go live for severe weather. And the odds of you surviving severe weather will go up tremendously. And it's just the smart thing to do. So make sure you take care of that today. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you guys back in here tomorrow morning with your primetime forecast. And if we have to go live tomorrow night for severe weather, I'll be here for that as well. Certainly hope that you continue to pray for our friends and neighbors over in Mississippi. And hope you have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. Rain will be out of here in an hour or so. And if the good Lord's willing, the creek don't rise, I'll see you back in here tomorrow morning on Dr. Don's Weather.